And we are live. Beautiful, awesome. Welcome everybody to the Big and Deep AI Talk with, of course, the Big and Deep AI Talker, me, Karel Mergel IV, the second most authentic 19-year-old on 19-year-old on LinkedIn. Apologies, I cannot speak today. And as promised, well, we're gonna do a deep dive on AI with Fabio Moreira, who's currently in the background, but he's the tech enthusiast and expert actually. And yeah, we decided to talk about AI a couple weeks ago, and we were just kind of trying to set it up, and something came up, so we had to postpone it, and then now we're finally here. So yeah, I was really excited for this talk. He was already on one of my streams before, um, the Master of Creation ones. He actually stayed the whole 4 hours. So thank you very much, Fabio. And well, without further ado, here he is. Welcome, Fabio.
Hey, how's it going?
Doing good, doing good. How are you? Well, it's been a long time. I mean, well, I don't know, 2-3 weeks since we talked, but
Yeah.
it's sorry, what's that?
No, I said yeah. No, I was agreeing with like how long it was. Yeah.
Yeah. So so what we were trying to plan is we were actually planning this kind of on the last stream. So for those who haven't seen it, go check it out. I kind of go through his LinkedIn profile and stuff, give him some tips, and just kind of show off my skills. That's what that whole stream was. It's a 2-part stream, by the way. It's basically 2 4-hour sessions. One was actually 3 hours because then in the second session, not a lot of people came, and so I kind of ended it early. But still, 7 hours total of just me showing off. So yeah, but that was a fun stream, and I really enjoyed Fabio there. And so I decided, hey, I'll do another stream because you seem really informed and like aware of AI news and headlines and stuff. So I figured you could probably match my energy, maybe even bring up something I don't, because not a lot of I don't know everything. Obviously,
Yeah.
haven't been through
I would.
all the headlines in a while recently.
Yeah.
So
I would
yeah.
say the same thing because because even I find it hard to even get into the like be updated because like I could be sleeping and then like 4 or 5 different things have been happening. I would
Mm,
know, but the latest thing that I saw was that apparently I saw it on Sky News actually. It was ChatGPT basically giving false transcripts to, I think it was a podcast, and I think it was on it was live, and yeah, it was just wrong. I don't know how, but it could have been a hallucination, to be honest.
I mean, yeah. What was with that? I mean, what was the name of it? Like ChatGPT
Yeah,
gives.
if you write ChatGPT, it could be it shows someone pointing towards a board.
I
Because
think I see it. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, it was.
Uh,
I just skimmed read it today because I saw it, but then I didn't stay there to read. But all I know that it was like podcast transcripts and it was wrong apparently. But yeah, again, I believe that's just hallucinations. Like we shouldn't be taking ChatGPT like on full 100%. But
mhm.
yeah, it's a good tool. It's a good tool.
Yeah, it's
Um,
only a video I can see. The thing is, yeah, it's on Sky News. I see it. ChatGPT gaslights podcast presenter and doubles down on lie. Yeah, it sounds like hallucination. I mean, I've had personal experiences where try to tell it that you give it something, it gives you an answer, and then it's a wrong answer, and I tell it, no, actually, this is wrong. Sometimes, well, what it should do oftentimes is actually it's programmed to answer to agree with you and stuff, even if the answer is still wrong, which is interesting. But yeah, I guess here it just doubled down on it. It's actually, no, you're wrong. Because
yeah,
it's typically a people pleaser, so it's uncharacteristic of it to try and convince you that you're wrong, basically.
yeah,
Interesting.
yeah. Did you manage to hear the one where it refused to shut itself off at all?
I think something like that, but I'm not sure. Um, when was that? I mean, that was probably not ChatGPT. It was one of the other robots or something like that, right? Trying to
Yeah,
figure out.
I think that was it. Yeah.
Can't remember what it was. I maybe made a video on it. I mean, I could go through all my all of my shorts, and then I can see the the titles and actually know all the videos that I made. It's interesting. I really can't always remember everything that I recorded. Like I can, I have the knowledge and everything, but I don't know what I recorded specifically. But whenever I see the short, like just the headline, I'm like, oh, and then I remember all the facts of it. So it's interesting.
Yeah, that's like, yeah, that's the good thing. That's also the good thing about documentation as well. Like, obviously you're not meant to remember everything, but as soon as you like see the video or like the documentation of what you did, you could like, yes, I done
Yeah,
this,
yeah.
and it just gives you like a like what's it called, a memory boost of what you done, which I like.
hmm Yeah, I mean, I have here a video actually that I made. I don't even know, like a while ago, also months ago. Anyways, it was Gemini, Google Gemini. It threatened a human, and I'll actually show it here. Let's see how it works to share screen. Yeah, it's still pretty much good. We're still on the screen, so yeah. Now I wanted to open up this. Yeah, okay. Let's see how
Google
it works.
Gemini threatens a human.
Can you hear it? Well,
Uh,
oh, jeez.
yeah,
No,
yeah.
skip.
Let's make a
Nope.
missing
Nope.
expert hallucinates evidence. So
I don't know.
recently
It
there was a
always
law
it always
introduced.
does this. It's scrolly, and I don't know what to do with it. So
Google Gemini threatens a human. So a guy was just talking with Gemini about problems and solutions for aging people, when out of completely nowhere it told him to please. Google was extremely quick to label this as, quote, nonsensical, but I don't know. Read this for yourself. Does it seem nonsensical?
actually, hang on. I don't know what the quality is that messy for. I'm not sure what's going on, but yeah, it basically said like it literally told him please die, please. Like and it was
Yeah,
just basically like it was just life problems, and then it just went off on him. I was like, when I saw that, I was like, geez.
yeah, that's just crazy because I've
Yeah.
never had that experience before. Because every single time I see these things like, oh yeah, it refused to shut down, or like, well, obviously that's a different case, but like, please die. I've never ever seen it, or like for myself, or like experienced it for myself, like running it on my own thing,
Yeah.
because ridiculous.
Right. I mean, yeah, and then there's plenty more. Obviously, I mean, there's just one of them, and it's had this. It's having these. It's been having these issues for a while, obviously, and that's just AI. What AI does, and it's
Yeah,
been like that since the beginning. Basically, there just wasn't a term for it until like I basically saw it even before they had the whole hallucination word going on. I mean, it wasn't called hallucination; it was just like making up stuff. Uh, when I go all the way back to my first short, which I created, like in 2023, I think they already had. Wait, hold this here. So the first one was my dad, and then where's me? Here's me. My experience. Yeah, okay. So I already used the term hallucinating in my first short. Yeah. So it was interesting even then. I mean, because you wouldn't expect it to just basically make up stuff and then try to tell you that it's right and convince you of its own answer when you know it's wrong. It was just kind of unprecedented, and you would expect it to correct itself because it knows everything, and it shouldn't it shouldn't give you wrong answers. It shouldn't double down on them, especially not. I mean, triple, quadruple down on them even. You know, and by the way, the more you tell it, don't do this and stuff, the more it does it, obviously, because it's emulating human behavior. So that was another thing with that, right? That it said that it basically said that ChatGPT is burning millions of dollars, or OpenAI is burning millions of dollars every year because when people say please and thank you and are polite to the bot it gives it extra like extra care, and it actually gives you a good answer and stuff. So it actually thinks about it and makes it takes more processing power and then stuff like that. So it's weird how it behaves, but yeah, that's the case. So the more you for example, tell a kid don't do this, the more he'll obviously do it. So that's kind of what ChatGPT is trying to emulate, and it's really weird. What's your take on all of this?
In terms of the hallucinations, I think we're always gonna have a hallucination, like how your computer always glitches and stuff like that. It just has to happen. It's like nature sometimes just gets angry, and for computers, it just crashes, or it's not feeling well, basically. But with the please and thank you one, I heard it burns a lot of money. That's for one. Obviously, I have used it myself a couple of times, but I rarely use that when writing prompts, because I don't think it really changes the aspect of the prompt itself or how it would reply. Some people say it does, or like we should have manners towards the robot, but again, I don't really know how a robot would understand manners, because it's not really human. Obviously, it would understand the definition of the said words that you say, but I don't think it would change the response and whatever you ask it to. Like, for example, like, could you make me like a time sheet for working out, please? I don't know. Have you tried this before? And with and without the please and thank you, did it change the response? Because I've tried it so many times, I don't see any change in responses at all.
Right. I mean, for me, it worked actually plenty of times. It's more willing to listen to you. For example, I don't know. Whenever I'm writing something long, right, like say a post on LinkedIn or something for school or something like that. I'm trying always to leave out the M dashes. Right. I don't want to manually delete them because it would take so long and to replace and stuff. So I just tell it don't put the M dashes in there. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Put them in there still. Put the M dashes in there. Thank you, and they're gone. So it's worked for me before, and it's a little bizarre how that works. I mean, like I said, there's a difference between understanding and emulation, because it doesn't have to understand it. The bot doesn't have emotion; it doesn't get it, but it emulates
Mm-hmm.
what it saw from its data sets, right? So if it sees in data sets, say, I don't know, random Discord chat, and it sees irony, it sees sarcasm, and it sees this, kind of push and pull that always humans do, was going to try to emulate that, because it's like it's trying to be you. It's always talking as a human. It's always like, oh, for example, yesterday I generated something like, about my car, and I needed to fix a problem. Again, it's a recurring problem, my car. But I tried to, I wanted to fix a problem on the car, and it was like, I gave it some options, what I have, and it was like, if it were my car, right? It talked as if it, had agency, as if it was material, as if it was present somewhere, right? But it's not present anywhere. It's present in the air, in the cloud. So so it's trying to emulate it, but right what it's doing. That's why it's always hallucinating, right? Because it doesn't really get it. Sometimes it just tries to emulate something it saw somewhere, and yeah, and then I'm kind of back to the hallucinations. I'm kind of glad it's hallucinating. I said that on another podcast with another guy that I had, and I said that I'm glad it's hallucinating because it kind of keeps you. What would you call it? It kind of keeps you on your feet, right? Because then you don't truly and everything it does. Once but that's why education about the hallucinations is important. Once you know that it hallucinates, then you can go, yeah, so this thing does hallucinate, and I have to be careful about it. Otherwise, I might put something out there that's not true. So it's important to tell everybody that yes, it can hallucinate, and no, it doesn't always get everything right. So yeah, so that's what I think about hallucination. So I'm kind of glad that it's unfixable. It might be better if it was, actually. Oh, man, did we lose connection? I hope we didn't. Can you hear me still?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm still.
Because I can see the quality on the stream.
But yeah, no,
Sorry.
but I agree. I agree with you though on the hallucination part, because if there was a fix, it would probably make us I would say lazy, because
Complacent.
lazy lazy in saying, like, for example, like, you wouldn't want to grab, like, well, more knowledge, even though like it's giving you knowledge, but you don't know if that knowledge that is giving to you is correct or false, right? So like sometimes,
Mm.
yeah, I would obviously, I don't know, I want to be educated in something. I ask ChatGPT to like find it, but sometimes it goes through sources and then it does like a quick search, but then it gives me some short sources, but then some of the times it's not accurate. So then I go like, are you sure this is correct? Are you like I ask, are you sure, or like can you please verify it again, because I'm not sure if
Mm.
you are correct. And then it goes like, oh, thanks for the clarification. I made an
Yeah.
error or confusion in the last reply. This was the correct I don't know, like article response or
Yeah.
whatever he or she said. But that's the thing that I like about with the hallucination as well. Like I wouldn't want AI to be at a point where we make ourselves lazy, because then we would be like, I don't know the word you would say, like we would make something so great that we wouldn't challenge if it's right or wrong,
Mm-hmm.
right? So but I want to, but like as humans we are very I would say egotistical in some aspects. Like if someone's wrong, sometimes you want to prove them right. Like if someone's wrong, you want to prove yourself to them that you're right, and they are like bringing out misinformation of some sort.
Yeah.
So that's the whole purpose of why I like to maintain the humanity of some things, because it would just work. Because if we had AI just going like, oh yeah, this is right, don't question it, then you're not using your brain,
Mm.
right? That's how I think of it. I just like to double verify everything, and even sometimes I would just like Google it, like just skim through like articles and whatever, and just double check it to verify the information. Even though that ChatGPT is giving it to me, I would rather sometimes, occasionally, I'd rather search it myself and then read for myself, rather than having ChatGPT find it, tell me like certain aspects and summarize it. I'd rather just read it, if you know what I mean. I'm sure that's happened to you at some points. Like you would question the AI in terms of like, is this actually right that you're giving me, or are you just like lying to me, or just giving me misinformation?
Yeah. I mean, too many times. It's happened to me before when I was giving it some, readings and everything. I told it to basically summarize them and maybe pull some quotes from them and stuff. And it never. It was always like, first of all, it sometimes just gives you the wrong quotes because it paraphrases them to fit something. But I need accurate quotes, right? Not paraphrasing, because I actually want to verify that it's true, right? Because paraphrasing, it might stretch the thing a bit, but I want to be sure that it's actually it. Because if it's something that it's stretched, but it ends up being inaccurate, or it's too far stretched, then I don't want that. So I always want exact quotes when I'm dealing with it. And yeah, and sometimes even, yeah, like I talked about that previously. Maybe, yeah, wait, if I can pull up that first short. Actually, I talked about that in there, what you just mentioned. So let me pull it up really quick, and it works. 3, 2, 1, share, and then a list, and then scroll down, 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 down. Here it is. So let's see if it works. Please work. Yeah, here it is. Quality is pretty bad again, but that's okay. Let's see. Hello, today's video is a continuation of yesterday's short, and I wanted to share my experience of ChatGPT hallucinating. So I was making a research paper and I asked ChatGPT for 15 links, and it gave me these links to reliable medical sources, such as PubMed. And I clicked all of these, but they led to the sites, but it gave me an error 404, not found. And except for the last one, which was actually a PDF, it gave me a link to a PDF, and I clicked that. It was good, so I used that. But 1 out of 15, not a good ratio. And if you do ask ChatGPT for links, always check that they are reliable. Always check that they work.
And if not, then don't trust it. And like, share, comment, subscribe. See you tomorrow.
Yeah, so I always love this. So yeah, I've been telling that to people since May 1st, so for 2 years. Don't trust it ever, 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 because it always does that. But that wasn't actually it. I was trying to look for another one. So that was that, and then wait, something about OpenAI stop training for breaking news, Twitter. How do you use ChatGPT for YouTube video shorts ideas? Yeah, don't do this, by the way, because I'm not endorsing this anymore. It's gonna be bad. A crucial website. Crazy ChatGPT features. OpenAI CEO calls for regulation. Where is this? Because I used to. What the heck? Argument politics. Unparalleled technical. ChatGPT. Oh, is inept at making articles. Hang on, I haven't seen this in a while. I haven't seen this.
ChatGPT is inept at making articles. Why? Well, you don't have to wonder why, because I tested it out for you. I was making an article for a home and auto insurance company that we're working with, and I asked ChatGPT to generate me an article about auto insurance. Well, it did generate me an article, and I put it into a readability calculator. Well, you can see the score right here. It is horrible.
Like 27 out of 100. It's terrible. I mean, yeah, don't.
27. That is just not good. And you can see below the legend, below 60. Anything below 60 is difficult to read. So meaning 27 is probably impossible to read. And it reflects on your ranking in Google. Google will not rank you. Google will rank you very low. So avoid using ChatGPT for complete articles. You have to change them. You have to adjust them. You have to improve them for them to be useful. So don't just take any article that ChatGPT generates you and copy paste it into your blog. And what are your thoughts on this? Comment below, like, share, subscribe. See you tomorrow.
Yeah, so this is I just rediscovered this whole thing about myself. Anyways, yeah, so like I said in there, when it does something and it still kind of works, I haven't tried any SEO or blogs about it and stuff like that. I haven't tried it out in a while, but I still think it's true, because what it used to do, it would just try to stop sharing for now. Find it later. What it would do is it would write continuous sentences, right? It would just be like, go 10 words, comma, 10 words, comma, 10 words, comma, no periods for those 30 words, right? And that's what readability is basically. It's how many words per sentence, and then other stuff like repetitive language and hard words and stuff like that. But that statistic is terrible. Anything below 60, like I said, that's unreadable. And I think it probably does it better now, because I know that whatever ChatGPT generates me is typically pretty well broken up, and you can tell it. But it used to be pretty difficult to convince it to write, properly. Whenever I tried to do it with the, like the old way of just telling it make it shorter, it wouldn't work, because at the time I didn't know you have to tell it please. maybe it would be different if I knew to tell it please and something like that. Maybe I wouldn't criticize it so much. But yeah, so it didn't work for this then, and I'm not sure if it works now. Still probably not, but you have to be polite. Now, there's an add-on to all of this. Probably the only single way to fix ChatGPT, just be polite.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because even I would get frustrated, and sometimes it just give me was it like errors, and I'm just like, oh, just please do it, and then it just does it. But sometimes I like I think is when you get frustrated and ask it to please and thank you, then it does it. Because the first time I do it, it just doesn't do anything or whatever, and then when it gets it wrong, and then you ask it, then it recorrects itself.
Yeah.
I think is when it gets something wrong and then you ask please and thank you, then it works.
Yeah.
Because I think that's how it is, because I've tried it some other times and it did work, but like saying in general, like how you do in the prompt, you don't want to waste time with like please thank you, because you're talking to a machine. But yeah, no, it does work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, just now as you were talking, I actually found the short that I wanted to show originally. Sorry for disrupting this kind of flow, but yeah, I just wanted to.
No, it's all right.
Yeah.
It's all right. We're talking AI.
Yeah.
That's all right.
ChatGPT gives false answers. I was giving it some multiple choice statistics questions, and I asked him for the right answer. Well,
Yeah, basically, like I don't know what the I don't know what's with the quality, but basically it was a statistics question, and I gave it, as you can see, 5 answer choices. Kind of see it.
well, it did give me a supposed right answer, but then I asked Google, and it gave me a different answer.
Yeah, because at the time it was still, you didn't only trust ChatGPT. Well, ever since I knew that it hallucinates, I just put it into Google always the same exact question, and it would sometimes just show up on what were those platforms called? Like those math places and those places where real people answer you. And I still didn't rely
Yeah.
heavily into AI and stuff, and it was just difficult. Anyways, so I put it in there. It gave me just a different answer, and I believe people more obviously because technology. I can't see it. I don't trust it. But yeah, so when I told it that, well, I'm gonna actually explain it in the video.
So I confronted ChatGPT with the answer Google gave me, and it started apologizing, saying it gave me wrong information, and then yes, indeed, this answer is correct. And so I put in Google's answer. And for the other questions that Google didn't have, I put in the ChatGPT answer. And the result? Google's answers were all right. ChatGPT's, most of them were not. So do not trust ChatGPT. Always double check its answers with other sources. And I do know that OpenAI warns its users that ChatGPT might produce false information, but some people will just take the answer that ChatGPT gives them, put it everywhere, and say it's the truth. And what do you think of this?
And that's still the case, actually. Even
Yeah.
oh shoot, not promote. I want to see when it was created. Even literally 2 years later, it's still the truth. Everybody, a lot of people still rely on ChatGPT heavily and other AI tools. I'm just saying, double check it. What I usually do is actually I put for example, a question or whatever it might be, a prompt into, say, 4 different AIs, generative pre-trained programs, GPTs and LLMs, and let them answer, right? And basically, I always do if it's like a kind of a voting system, right? I have 4 and basically 1 tiebreaker. It's like I put it into 4 of them, and then 2 say yes, 2 say no. So I put it into the tiebreaker, and that's what wins. And that's that actually has worked for me before, and that's what genuinely.
That's not bad actually.
Yeah. So.
Like,
Yeah. Just double check it always like this, and you should be good. But not saying always also rely on yourself and rely on your research skills. Don't always just trust what any AI says. I mean, even if you're using 5 different AIs like I was, you always check it with Google if you're truly not sure. So
yeah. Also, there was, I don't know if you heard China introduced AI doctors, and they were also speaking about it in the UK. There was like, would you like to have AI doctors at like the hospitals, and I think it's like clinics and pharmacies or anywhere in medical, let's just say. I want to hear your thoughts on it because I wouldn't mind it, but some people are just disagreeing because they still want the human aspect of it, which I understand completely.
yeah. I mean, I don't necessarily like the idea of AI doctors. Maybe like not that it would be in a decision making capacity. That it would always have to be double checked, actually verified that it is the true procedure. I would like to use it because, for example, some places like maybe doctors sometimes need to think outside of the box about what a problem could be, and so they're always sometimes like just tunnel vision on some solution or problem that maybe isn't it. So they ask ChatGPT and it brings them outside of this box, and maybe it might be a whole different thing. The issue is caused by or something like that. So then you'll be like, okay, so then so then you'll know, and then you can verify it and everything. But solely AI having control over a human's body, possibly like that in that sense is, I don't know. I don't like it, and that's actually I just once he said that the medical stuff, I was like, I have another short for that because I made shorts on literally everything. So yeah, here's one, and it was basically about health insurance, actually, not like medical, but
Ooh, health
health
insurance.
insurance. Yeah, listen, jeopardize
Your health
Oh God!
Do not put
Not again. Oh no! It reset me. Of course. Gosh.
No worries, no worries.
Oh, man. Oh, so first of all, let's play this. I found it, and then
Google tends a giant breakthrough in healthcare. Lately, they have been testing out a new large language model called MedPalm 2. MedPalm 2 helps doctors answer general questions and, for example, diagnose patients. And what does it mean for you? Soon enough, you might be diagnosed by an AI doctor. But that is still some time away, and for the time being, there are some privacy concerns. The first one is Google having access to your medical history. That, however, is not sure because the Wall Street Journal reported that customers' data are encrypted in MedPalm 2 and Google doesn't have access to them. If that's true, though, that's anyone's guess. The second concern, which is confirmed, is that MedPalm 2 gives inaccurate information. This is a classic flaw with large language models, and I made a couple of videos about that. And the final concern is that the senior research leader himself said that he won't use MedPalm 2 in his family's quote-unquote healthcare journey. MedPalm 2 still has some good qualities. This graph means that MedPalm 2 has these qualities better than doctors. I'm still skeptical of it, especially of the inaccurate information, but if they fix that, it will likely bring all of the countries in the world better healthcare systems. And tell me what you think of this possible major breakthrough.
Yeah, so that's what I kind of made. It was unbiased at the time. I was always trying to be unbiased, but then figured that being unbiased never brings any views in, considering that people
Yeah.
don't like news, and I've said that multiple times. People love opinion, and that's why they listen to for example, especially with politics and everything, like political commentators and their opinions and stuff. That's why they're so popular, not the politics themselves usually. And yeah, so I decided, you know what, I'll just I would be more unbiased, and I can tell you now, I don't think I would use it, in a decision-making capacity like this. Like general questions, okay, not a problem. If a doctor wants to ask it then sure. But I would be a little, again, that I didn't even uh, realize that until the second pass, that it could have access to your medical information, which is really, really like the most private data you own as a person, your medical data. So I don't know if I would want to put it into an AI, or that Google would have access to it. Doesn't sound like something for me. And now I'm trying to find that the healthcare one. It was later than that because I was in a different hotel at that point. Not here, and now it's not going to load. Are you kidding me? Here it is. Okay, perfect. I found it. Let's see. I don't want it to jump. Please do not jump. If it's even going to load. Come on. You can do it. Please.
Come on. Load it now. Come on.
Yeah. There it is.
Because of AI, the health insurance giant Cigna has rejected 300,000
300,000. Okay, listen.
claims because of AI. 300,000 payment claims and just on more risks in the patients than a human reviewer would. And what do you think of AI rejecting your health insurance claim? Are you worried? Comment right here.
Yeah. So it rejected in 2 months' time. It rejected 300,000 health insurance claims because it found a lot of risk in the patients. Right. I hope people could see it because my stream is for some reason laggy, really laggy. I might try and switch it to my hotspot because, again, like this Wi-Fi sometimes is trashy. I mean, I did that last time, so I hope the stream doesn't go off anywhere. I can only hope. And it should be good, but
because I can hear you clear. I can hear you clear.
So what's that?
Yeah. Oh no, I was saying that I can hear you clearly, basically.
Now it's reconnected. Okay. I'll just reconnect though because like I said, it's not too good. So anyways, 10-second break and then we'll be right back. Or 30-second break, whatever it is. Please. Okay, sorry about that. We should be back. Am I back? Can you hear me clearly now? Or better?
Yep. Okay. Hello again.
There we go. Finally. And could you hear the video clearly? Was it good?
Yeah. I heard you were saying, we was just talking about AI rejecting claims. Yeah. Wow, that's that's something.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like I could just imagine that in the finance sector, like you want to what, like take out a loan for, like, I don't know, like a business, and then like the AI is just like, yeah, no, we're not going to give you one,
Hmm.
and that's it. No like
Appeal,
help,
no
no
review.
nothing,
Yep.
no seeing. Yeah, it's just like force blocks, like you're not having
Yeah,
it
like what
done.
the AI says, the
Done.
AI has. Yeah, it's really,
Yeah,
really
yeah.
stupid.
Again, it's just like, it's just like, I feel like what we're doing wrong as well is like we're trying to implement everything to AI, and we're being less human. And when I mean less human, we're not really being empathetic to ourselves and uh, other humans around us, because like, cool, yeah, we're experimenting with new technologies and everything like that, but there comes a place and a time where like we need to be looking at things in both sides of the I would say, like the each side of the pitch, let's say, like human side of the pitch and AI side of the pitch.
Mm.
We cannot allow basically the AI to overrule the human side, and the human side cannot manipulate the AI or whatever to basically, like one gets more power than the other, or like, them combining in some way to manipulate like medias and stuff like that. We cannot allow it. So it has to, we need to like do it 50-50. So a balance of control would be, I would believe it would be better, but we just can't allow like AI to do stuff like rejecting people's medical history, stuff like claims, like just due to medical history and stuff like that, and your claim, we're not gonna allow that to happen. Same with like how I just said now that like with the loans, they could just reject it, and you're not gonna see a human. You're not gonna, it's trash, and I really wouldn't recommend it. That's why I would probably be more pro-human, uh, even though I'm a tech guy. But
Yeah,
you know,
that makes sense.
but like we need to level the playing field. We can't allow one side to be, doing stuff that is not good. You know what I'm trying to
Yeah,
say,
absolutely.
right? It's just terrible because we're just integrating AI into everything that we're not looking at ourselves properly, and then over time, everything is just going to be robotic, and then we might go to one day and be like, how did we allow ourselves to get here?
Exactly.
And then it would, yeah, and then uh, it would just be people who didn't look at both sides of the football pitch, like I just said, and they just looked at one area and they just looked, oh, cheaper, resourceful, faster,
Yeah.
but they're leaving the human aspect of stuff. We always need the human aspect of something, because that's what made us us, and that's how we basically made technology to basically help with our lives. That's the whole purpose of AI, but we can't allow it to basically do stuff like this. It's not great at all.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's I wouldn't want to have AI and humans ever equalized. It shouldn't be. I don't know if it should be 50-50, because I think that would be perfect. That talk about synchronization and everything. But I would love it to be more so, you know, near perfect synchronization, like 45-55 or something like that. But not like, you know, put it equal, or worse, have AI have the majority in
Yeah,
that. But
yeah,
yes, so because then humans would just lose agency, and not a lot of people would like to make decisions for themselves, and it would just be at the hands of AI. And I mean, people always look for people for to blame their problems on everybody else. So then it comes then comes AI, and suddenly people have another thing to blame, right, for their problems. So that would be from that aspect, it would be calming to humans. But once there's enough of this whole what would you call it? Once there's enough of this scapegoating the AI and everything, and AI becomes sentient, God forbid, well, it's gonna remember all those times, and it's probably not gonna react well and everything. So yeah, and it's probably, yeah.
probably it'll probably be like Terminator or something like that.
Sorry, what was that?
I'm saying it'd probably be like Terminator, because that's what I'm thinking. Because everything that I've seen, like iRobot, Terminator, it could possibly be like that. Like the films like mirror something like that happening. Whether we want to legit allow ourselves to keep going in this direction is up to us, really. But yeah, like you said, we can't allow one side to get more than the other. We have to keep it somewhat leveled, not too equal, but like somewhat equal, to the point where no one can be above each other,
Yeah.
basically. Which I agree with, because again, like I'm pretty sure a lot of people now, because I've always seen like layoffs now. I'm seeing layoffs happening like every other month or whatever, like a layoff here, layoff
Yeah.
there, and then I'm just seeing people just expressing their emotions on LinkedIn and some other platforms as well. And it's truly sad looking at it, because uh, again, they are humans as well, like us. And yeah, it's just I wouldn't want a lot of people laid off in just replacement of a robot. I just don't. For me, I just don't see that as normal. Yeah, working like technology and humans working together. Yeah, I could agree with that. But like, what, kicking people off their jobs because you wanna do like cheaper stuff, like, oh, it runs 24/7. It just tells me that either the person has no sympathy, or is just being a good businessman to keep the business in motion 24/7 without any haltage, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. Like no well, I just say haltage because I don't know any other words at the top of my head. But yeah, it's just terrible, really.
I mean, in my opinion, for businesses that do want to go 24/7, right? Like have AI customer support always on and everything. Well, I mean, it would be good. I mean, it'll always replace somebody, obviously, but then there's kind of this cycle of work, and should work like this. Like for example, if a person gets laid off from a company or something like that, right? Well, AI will always need more electricians and plumbers and stuff like that, right? For example, and not a lot of people will want to be electricians and plumbers, but there's also the administrative stuff and then technical stuff with AI, and so it's not only AI is not only coding and like this computer thing. I mean, what do computers need, right? They need electricity and they need water to cool down. So that's going to be a lot of jobs eventually, right? Unless even those get replaced by robots, but I think we're still kind of far away from that. Like with robotic development, it's been pretty well. I've seen some crazy clips and kind of cool developments on the humanoid robot front and everything. And I know that some warehouses even have AI workers, but not this. I don't know how to put it, like specialistic. Then at which point, if truly, like 95% of the jobs in the world get replaced by AI, and then there's only like 5% that are overseeing the operations, then this is what actually, like, I forgot exactly when, but in like 2000, pre-2010s, I believe, Bill Gates talked about this and said, hey, if that happens, you'll need a basically like a what's called like a basic income, like a universal basic income for everybody, right? Because that's still a radical thought now, because like, oh yeah, the country giving out money to its citizens and everywhere and everything, like no strings attached. It's still radical because but eventually, once 95% of people do not have jobs because of AI. Well, AI won't stop creating the product, but who's going to be there to buy it without money, right? So eventually you're going to need to just give out money, because otherwise, the economy will just crash. So that's a whole other sign. That's a whole other vision to look at it from. And I don't know how far or how close it is. It still seems like we're fairly far away from it. But with considering the rapid or the rapidness of AI development, and it going crazy, and it's exponential. Well, I don't know. Like it went from in 2 years, basically, it went from like, did you see the AI images 2 years ago compared to now? It's insane. Video production, the same thing. Like I've seen the new VO3 from Google. it's crazy. The
Yeah. I've
videos
seen
are really realistic.
I've seen a lot of that, and I'm even baffled myself because I look at that and I'm like, wow, like you could just make anything at this point, and obviously it will spark a lot of creativeness towards a person who probably wanted to build something or whatever, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's just amazing because if we have the tools, we we could use it. So. Yeah, it's not really much of you know uh, like a bad thing, but like obviously uh some people again they would moan, right? They would moan. So
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. I mean, I've uh what did I want? Yeah, it's I don't know. It's just AI development has been wild. Like I still do remember what it was like to create images with it back then. It was all six fingers and messed up faces, and it never knew how to do anything properly. Now it's uh, typically for me, it's actually flawless. It takes like two prompts, whereas it would take 10 back then. Some people just got happy with it, but I always hoped it would go further than that, and it did. But as of right now, it's still, I don't know. With the generation of images, especially, it's a little crazy because again, for images especially, it needs a huge amount of computing power, and that's why for example, when ChatGPT put out that it can transform your image into any style, basically, like I even tried that out. I tried out some of my older pictures in neo noir and stuff like that. And it actually created some insane images, but it needs a huge bunch of energy and stuff like that. And it's really crazy, especially even for the videos. That's literally that's 60 images per second for most of them, and that's just a huge amount of energy and stuff like that pulled, right? So I don't know. I don't like it from this aspect. Like it's eating up. Um, you know, it has a huge ecological impact, and like for example, I made a video recently about again the supercomputer in Memphis, which XAI has been building. Musk's company. So they've been uh, from the city. They're basically taking the power, right? And the city is obviously like it's already had even before the computer. It's already had rolling blackouts and stuff like that. And now you're putting a humongous supercomputer right there, right next to it. What can it result in? It's just going to make people mad and not want AI. And I don't know. I don't think that's a proper way of building AI. I think obviously like for the energy problems and stuff, it's heavily regulated right now, and it's for not even a good reason. Um, not even a good reason. Just it's under suspicion, right? I'm talking about nuclear energy, right? So nuclear energy, and everybody's like, oh, you always see in the TV, right? And I had this when I was younger, and I said that last time, I believe too. You see these in TV. You see green goo flowing into rivers and these barrels with the skull and crossbones and stuff, and it's like it always scares you, and that's what I mean. I think that was a whole plan of basically trying to discourage people from this, but I believe it's generally is genuinely the best uh, producer of energy as of right now, even though it's there's not a lot of it because it's heavily regulated due to what happened historically. I mean, yeah, but it could be that if they deregulated just a bit, not cut corners, literally just what
Yeah.
the what happened with Chernobyl, right? Not
Mhm.
that obviously, but you still want to kind of regulate it, but at the same time you don't want it over regulated so that one nuclear reactor takes 20 years to open. That's a little ridiculous,
Yeah.
and a huge amount of money, and then zoning and licensing, and it's terrible. So that, in my opinion, that's what's going to eventually solve this whole what's it called, like AI, well, not AI energy problem and stuff, because it needs a huge amount of energy, and the only thing that comes close to how much energy it needs is nuclear reactors. Eventually, it'll be nuclear fusion. That works on the processes of the sun, which will generate one of these plants will generate basically enough power, for example, for half of Europe, right, or two of them. I forgot how many, but it's a huge amount of things. So I hope they keep developing, nuclear and stuff, because it is, it is really the newest source of energy and everything, right? Because it only came by in the 1940s. So it's new on the scale of human history. So I hope they keep exploring that and not get discouraged by something that happened 40 years ago with a reactor that was just very, 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 very badly built, and it also uses very deficient and obsolete techniques. So yeah, but then now due to that, it's all just a very huge, scary thing. Nuclear. Whenever somebody mentions nuclear, it's like a buzzword. It's like, oh, nuclear, the nuclear option. And it has a negative connotation always. Well, it shouldn't, right? We should
Yeah,
kind of normalize nuclear.
I get you as well, because some people even complain as well that, as you were saying, like about the energy sector, that some people are just concerned of how much energy the AI is using, that it just uses way too much, and probably more than well, obviously the national grid. I'm not sure, but I believe at a certain point it would, and that's probably getting some people a bit worried. But yeah, like how you said that we shouldn't have too much regulation because of what happened in the past, but we need to have it like regulated, but not to the point where, like as you said, that we're waiting 20 years for like advancements, when we need the right people to talk, exchange what we think, and some other experts, scientists, and etc., and then push forward instead of just staying still or moving backwards in time, I would say. Because if we could do this right, then we can evolve faster, I would say, or like technology would move faster. So that I agree that we need to like do not regulate too much, because it could kill like innovation, future breakthroughs, and everything like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and yeah, so let's not regulate our future, I guess, because not that much, anyways. You know, since this what we've been working with now obviously hasn't been working. I mean, for example, the U.S. electrical grid in most places is, I forgot how old, like more than 60 years old sometimes in some places, and it's crazy. All those power lines and stuff, they've been sitting there, and it was only built to last 40, and it's basically 20 years overdue, and everybody's really ignoring it. And then we wonder why we have rolling blackouts, why it's really easy why these power lines just collapse and stuff, and it's like, oh, it's a surprise. No, they've been there for 60 years, and they were only built for 40. So what you're seeing now is just a product of negligence. Yeah, so it's a complicated topic, and not a lot of people like to go into nuclear, and because it's supposedly controversial, but it shouldn't be. It just shouldn't be. It's not. I'm laughing at the absurdity of it, because nuclear was before Chernobyl and all that. It was thought of as just a huge revolutionary, and it was used in. They tried to use it in mostly everything, right? So. No, interesting stuff, guys. Got a meeting to get to. Oh, I didn't even notice we had a comment. Well, it was 20 seconds ago. I just noticed it. Who was that? I just want to address them. Sorry about that. I always like to address fans or people who comment on my stuff. Who was this? Oh, Barbie. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you have a great meeting, and hopefully see you later. We might still be live. Who knows? But yeah, anyways. So yeah, she said she's gonna try catch at least a part of it. So she did. She was here. She was just now here, and
Lovely.
I appreciate that. Yeah, absolutely. So I always appreciate the support. Thank you for the comment. And yeah, so again, back to Chernobyl. Yeah, so before Chernobyl, it was free to explore it, and they were basically developing it on a massive scale, especially with the A bomb and the H bomb testing and stuff. I don't know if I really agree with that, because they dropped hundreds of bombs like this, like hydrogen bombs, atom bombs, and tested them out in the Pacific or Siberia, or in the deserts of the United States. Sure, you can test them out and everything, but I think 10 tests is enough, and they just did hundreds of them, literally hundreds. So So yeah, but that's not the way to explore nuclear power or energy. I mean, sort of, like I said, first 10, but then beyond that, it's a little overkill. And yeah, so I would like to see more of this exploration, and not getting any much hindrance from governments and stuff. Sure, like oversee it, just make sure it doesn't go overboard, or that it doesn't, like Oppenheimer feared, that it doesn't melt the ozone layer, obviously. But then, you should be fine other than that.
Yeah, we should be fine. We should be fine. We just need proper regulation and stuff like that, not too much control. And I think we should be fine because if we didn't think of it like negatively, all this nuclear stuff, I think we could just go forward, honestly, because we need more forward thinkers, and obviously we can't stand still all the time. Like like we can't stay like in the 2010s or like the 90s or whatever. We have to progress
Yeah.
forward. So if there's something that we need to address and we need to improve, then we must do it. We can't just allow ourselves just to stay because people are saying it might be too dangerous or whatever. We need to have discussions with, obviously it might get political at some points, but we need actual experts. And then, yeah, I just don't see any downsides to it. There might be, but we need to be cautious. I would say just go forwards, but be cautious. That's the advice I would say, because I'm not really a nuclear expert, but uh, I hope that opinion is very good in terms of weight. Go forward, but be cautious.
Yeah, I mean, not only again, back to that whole expertise thing. Not only you know the nuclear power shouldn't be gate kept only for nuclear experts or whatever, because there's not a lot of them, and it concerns us all, right? I mean, we saw that with Chernobyl, so that's only proof that it should concern everybody. There's multiple stakeholders. For example, with Chernobyl, the entire world was a stakeholder because of the fallout. But yeah, so in any case, we should be able to have our own takes on everything. I mean, we still have free speech, and so it should be easier thanks to that. But then, I know some people like to say, like, you're not an expert, you can't say anything about this, and oh, that's with everything basically. Like even on LinkedIn, like the experts only have the right to talk, and then whenever you're some smaller guy, then everybody makes fun of you, even though you might be more proficient, because you're talking to two different audiences. When you have a 2,000 follower audience, you're talking to a more niche audience, and if the expert has 100,000 followers, they're talking to they're trying to influence, they're talking to influence. So yeah, so you have to adopt different tactics and stuff, and so it's not like it's not only one or the other. Both have their own takes, but they're talking about two different things, LinkedIn wise. But yeah, so yeah, and then what else to say? I mean, were there some other headlines? I think I saw just one that was recent. I'm actually about to make a video on that, like a short, and it was that Anthropic, no, vice versa. Reddit, I believe, is suing Anthropic for stealing its data. Anthropic, the parent company of Claude AI, which is actually one of my more favorite AI models. I've used plenty, and suddenly it's gone. Yeah, and Reddit,
Oh
Anthropic.
yeah, I've definitely heard of that.
Yeah, Reddit sues AI company Anthropic for allegedly scraping user comments to train chatbot Claude. Okay, yeah, that's pretty clear cut. Although,
I
you
heard
just
they
never know.
I heard they didn't pay to train on the data. I'm not sure if that's like uh correct, but I did see somewhere that they didn't pay to train their AI on the data. I'm not sure if that's correct, but if it is, then I wouldn't be surprised that Reddit is suing. So
I mean, that happens a lot more than you think. Hang on, let's just show you if I can find it again. Made a short on one of these. Wait. Okay, let's take it step by step. I think. Oh yeah, here I'll show you another video. Those the New York Times had this thing with had the same thing basically with ChatGPT or OpenAI, and basically the New York Times accused OpenAI of scraping its paywalled articles and everything. So let me just put it up here, and this one. I hope it doesn't skip. Please do not.
The New York Times will destroy OpenAI. Well, actually, let's change that to probably. So, what happened? The New York Times says that OpenAI has stolen millions of articles from New York Times and that they use them to train ChatGPT. They say that they are now losing revenue because of ChatGPT's competition. Let's actually zoom in on that argument by going to the New York Times' website and checking what they wrote about themselves. Okay, I'll start. And it's paywalled. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that their loss of revenue is not because of ChatGPT. It is actually because they paywall every single freaking article, from the most useless ones to some that I can find at any other news outlet. By the way, I do not support either of these companies because they are only trying to protect their own money, which really doesn't help us, the regular people. Subscribe to my channel and tell me in the comments if you support either of these companies and why.
Yeah, in my opinion, I mean, the New York Times is obviously in the right. Maybe legally speaking, obviously, because they, ChatGPT showed when the New York Times reviewers or whatever editors asked ChatGPT to regurgitate these paywalled articles, it literally put it word for word and everything. So, and then ChatGPT put I figured like a block feature. Basically, it doesn't take source. It doesn't only take from one source. It takes it from multiple sources. About like if it's news and everything. So if you ask it, it's going to take from multiple sources and it's going to kind of combine it. But it's not going to have exclusive data from the New York Times because of this lawsuit and everything. So I'm not sure if it's still ongoing. It should be. Maybe New York Times already won, but I just kind of the headline maybe slid by me. That can happen too. I noticed sometimes I figured it was still going on, and then I saw a headline that it's not going on anymore. So yeah. And what was this? I had another one about the NYT. What? I just saw it. Now it's not gonna let me to search it up. Wow. Maybe I went too high. Not like that, but oh wait, hang on. I just saw one. Blah blah blah, and then NYT again. Let's see. There it is. Okay, that's NYT destroys. NYT hack ChatGPT. I think it's this one. That's the second side of the argument. Hang on.
The New York Times hacked ChatGPT. And how did they hack it? Well, OpenAI says that in their quest to find some evidence of ChatGPT regurgitating copyrighted data.
Yeah, that was from that original. That was tied to that original lawsuit.
Copyrighted data, the New York Times apparently hired somebody to get this data out of ChatGPT. The person then achieved this by asking ChatGPT some deceptive prompts, which OpenAI says go completely against its content policy. I don't know about you, but this is starting to sound like a spy movie. In any case, though, I think the court will accept NYT's evidence because it really doesn't matter if they ask questions that went against OpenAI's content policy. ChatGPT still laid out the copyrighted data, meaning that OpenAI definitely fed the data to it. Therefore, in my opinion, OpenAI is still in the wrong. Subscribe to my channel and tell me in the comments, what do you think of this new evidence?
Yeah, and I mean, probably legally speaking, if if it wasn't against the law to get this evidence out of ChatGPT, then it's admissible evidence, right? So if it was only against ChatGPT's content policy, then it's completely admissible, right? So because ChatGPT's content policy doesn't have anything to do with the law, and so yeah, so still, NYT is obviously in the right here, and I think I've manipulated ChatGPT into giving me some stuff and stuff like that. So maybe it went against its own policy, but it is what it is. You got to do what you got to do if you want to learn something from it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
Google. Where is this? Oh, that was another one. Yeah, it's a lot. It was a lot of problems, especially when, for example, Google. That Google search generative experience is what it's called. That the AI overview that you always see, if you search it up on. Do you have this in the UK? That when you search it up on your phone and on the top it generates like an AI overview of the results. Do you have that?
Oh yeah, that's over here as well. Yeah, sometimes I would search something and then it would give me a brief of what it is, or links, or top suggested as well, and it
Yeah.
just gives a review of what's inside the article. Yeah, we have it here. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of what this was about. That the Google search, I believe. Wait, no, maybe that's not it. No, that was Google search. This was not the AI overview. I thought it was that, but I had another one. I think where basically what happened was that the AI overview would take, um, you know, I'll call them poop posts or crap posts. You know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
from Reddit, and it would then actually index it, or put it into AI overview as real information. For example, oh, do you put glue on pizza to make it like whenever they put in ads, they do this in ads, they put glue on it so it like it has that drag,
Oh yeah,
so that's
yeah.
actually glue, it's
That,
not cheese, right? So
hmm
it was like, yeah, you can do that, and it's not gonna be like, it's gonna be completely fine. No, don't do that, please. And then a lot of other stuff like lied about political figures and stuff like that. So this was a Google search caught publicly indexing users' conversations with Bard AI. So basically, they had a mess up where like if you go into, well, Bard AI is now Gemini AI, basically, right? So they went into Bard AI, and they had a conversation with it, and then Google somehow mixed it up and then put it into search results. These private, quote unquote, conversations, right? Everybody just saw them. I don't know what was. I don't know what the details exactly were, so let's listen to the video. Google is in deep shit over AI. They indexed their large language model Google Bard's private conversations with other people. These conversations showed up in search results. These are basically like, it shows the search results of the conversations. Apparently, this happened when people chose to share their conversations with other people. But instead of being kept between them, Google actually took the link of the conversation and put it into their search results. Subscribe to this channel and tell me if you think, yeah, basically that's the gist of it. Whenever somebody shared a Bard conversation, it always took the link and basically indexed it and figured it was okay to post. So yeah, I don't know, that's probably not the case anymore. Obviously, these are a little outdated, these shorts and everything. But then at the same time, some of these things can be still relevant with newer models and stuff. So
of course, yeah.
still be cautious. Yeah, it's always like this. Even history doesn't repeat; it often rhymes. Yeah, right. So
Yeah.
it's you got to keep paying attention. 999 views on the end of toilet paper. That's funny. Yeah. What is this? Oh yeah, I like this one too. Actually, the Claude AI has sometimes a mind of its own, and it's actually I like the models, the language and stuff. It's kind of cool, and that they're making it basically more what I call it, human-like. Like they it tries to they're trying more, because it used to be always like very, very robotic. If you remember what the very first answers of ChatGPT, where it was just I never liked it, but then now they started making it sound like a human is actually talking to you. So yeah, then this is now a very improvised, interesting thing that happened with Claude AI when it in a coding session that was organized basically by the Anthropic, right? Basically, and it
Yeah.
just said, what, F this, I'm going to start browsing photos. AI gets bored from learning. Just a couple of days ago, the developers of Anthropic's Claude AI, after reviewing some footage of a coding demo, found out that Claude AI got bored. In the video, they showed that after a couple of hours of training, Claude started browsing Google on its own. I'm basically showing, again, the quality is bad, but it actually does go into the search tab. It searches up, Yellowstone National Park, and it starts browsing Yellowstone. Boom, Yellowstone.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
But it gets even better. So what's that?
I think I've seen that it would just go and do other stuff other than studying. Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah. It didn't just search Yellowstone up, it started browsing the images. So I would say this is just Claude's version of going on Instagram Reels instead of studying. What do you think of artificial intelligence procrastinating? Subscribe to my channel and tell me. Yeah, so that was another cool thing. And you don't, I mean, I do like when AI gets creative like this and everything, but maybe it was trying to emulate the human behavior of procrastinating. Who knows, really? So yeah, but I don't know. It was just interesting to see that. It's more. It becomes more human. You humanize the AI, which I don't know if it's good or bad. I feel like you don't want to humanize it too much. You still don't want to believe it's a human, obviously, because it's not. It never will be. But maybe just kind of what you call it, kind of, I don't know, you don't want to completely, what's it called, like disrespect it almost. I don't know. I don't like it. I don't want to be rude to it unless it's unless it messes up multiple times, then I have to be rude to it. Sometimes I am. I mean, sometimes I get mad because sometimes I'm on a time crunch and I'm trying to get this out, and then it just keeps messing up the same gosh darn thing. I'm trying to get it out, and it's like, no, actually, no. Like, stop it, do it like I'm telling you, and it still doesn't. So you have to, like I said, politeness.
Yeah, I get sometimes a bit angry as well, even with computers. Like sometimes it would be slow, it would not open this. It's the same thing with ChatGPT. I won't advise this, but sometimes shouting does work. But of course, we can use manners too as well.
Yeah, caps lock. I mean, yeah, once you get mad at it, I figured it works only in like if you do it early in the chat, somehow worked sometimes for me. If you do it early in the chat and you set the tone of conversations that you are of authority, it's not going to disrespect you later usually. But it does have this interesting thing. It does have a limited context window, even though the chat will go for a very, very long time. It'll always start forgetting the earlier information that you put above. So you sometimes need to just every couple of messages remind it how you want it, and it'll keep going.
Yeah, I get you. Because sometimes it would forget and it would make up information, and I'm like, I don't remember you saying that. And he's like, you remember? I go like, do you remember from earlier? You told me that you said this, and then you go like, oh yes, I did say that. So
Mm.
yeah, that I can agree with. That we have to always have to like remind the AI, because sometimes there's too much information,
Yeah,
and probably it's just suffering from information overload, and then it just makes up a bunch of like fake information or nonsense
yeah.
basically.
And what I like Claude for is that they have, I think, a little more limited chats, even though it's like its context window is like 400,000 tokens, which means basically like a full book almost of text that you could do it like 300 pages or something like that. But maybe even with the newer models, maybe it's even more now. I figured, but but it does actually. If I, for example, went to my longest conversation, which was a very, very long conversation, and revisited it and asked it what I said in the beginning, or anywhere in the text, basically, it's going to recall it perfectly, right? So that's why I like Claude more, because it has this more of, what do you call it? It's it has a, like I said, a bigger context window, so it can recall information way more accurately than ChatGPT can. Because if I ask ChatGPT, what did I say here or something like that, it's never going to recall it. When I upload a file with text in it, it's actually going to, like it's going to read the documents, but then you actually have to upload, what's it called, like the actual like a text file, not a PDF. Because if you upload a PDF, if for some reason, not even 3 messages later, it doesn't remember it. It's like, when I tried to, like, what did it say in this text? Like, for the first time, it tells me exactly what it says. Second time again, kind of does. Third time, I ask it what does it say in this text, and it starts analyzing it, like coding, to get it, what's it called? To get it, out of the text or whatever, find it somehow. And it never works. It's like, oh yeah, I forgot this, this document. Could you re-upload it or something like that? And you'd have to re-upload it every time. So I figured it's easier to upload text files, like .txt files, into it, because it remembers it for longer. I don't know how it works personally, but because I figured because I know PDFs are like, they're not an actual text. It takes the text from them, but the TXT file is basically like an actual, it's just text, right? So PDFs are usually visual, and text is actually on the computer local. So so I don't know, but maybe that's the case. But in any case, if you are trying to upload a PDF and it starts just saying like I can't remember, just upload, transform it into a text file, upload it, and it'll never have a problem with that. So that's a good tip that I can give you. But anyways, what else? What else was there? Do you have any other headlines, news, and stuff like that?
There was one where like I saw as well, like on in the mornings, there was this presenter that she was it's this morning. I obviously I don't think you know, but this morning presenter, and she's like around 50, and then someone made an image of her being pregnant, and I think they've just made rumors online that she's pregnant, but
Oh,
Yeah, and her womb is just too old. So yeah, so I don't know how she could become pregnant. Obviously, there is ways, but like again,
yeah,
regulation when it comes to like image generation has to like there needs regulation because people just put celebrities, even with I think it was like is it face swap or I think it's something like that.
yeah,
Yeah, and they could just basically do anything because now, obviously, because as we're talking about AI, anyone could just make up anything and spread rumors as fast as a virus on a PC. So yeah, it's
yeah.
just it was really shocking what I saw. Like it it was like the picture of the presenter and it was a picture of the basically the baby, but not like the baby like outside, like the image of the I don't know what it's called.
Like an ultrasound.
It's something. Yeah, there is an ultrasound. There is an ultrasound, and yeah, it was just some fake ultrasound with the presenter, and I was like, wow, how dangerous could that be?
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I don't want to like with this stuff, AI image generation and stuff. Even if it's real people, I wouldn't want to regulate that or ban it because then you're giving people a lot less room to work with, and the AI always when you
Yeah,
tell it to for example not do realistic stuff or humans and faces and stuff, then it sometimes interprets it in some context like don't do anything realistic, so it stops generating those like beautiful nature pics that you see. But so I would love to see if you know. I don't know how to put this. Make it like I don't know hard burn like a watermark into these pictures. For example, like ChatGPT already has this where they have their own mark in there. Whenever I put a photo from ChatGPT into LinkedIn, it always has content credentials, right?
mm,
So something like that. But maybe make it invisible to the user. Like for example, how do I eliminate those content credentials? Is I just go into my file, open it up, and make a copy of it, and rewrite the original file. Bam, and you don't have any more content credentials. So just make it hard burdened into maybe like the pixel or something like that, or the metadata of that can be removed of the picture, right? So that would eliminate a lot of this, and it would still be invisible. It would still be realistic, but if somebody wanted to verify it if it's true, they could very easily. So it would be it would be kind of controlled satire, like harmless satire or humor and stuff, because there's no harm done with obviously like, if you find out it's parody fake, right? But if somebody's trying to really harm somebody, at that point it should have these the credentials that are inside the actual
yeah.
file, which would be nice. I don't know if they figured out a way to do that yet. I know that, for example, with
I, I
sorry, what's that?
I think they've done it for. I think they've done it for text. I believe. Like what you were just saying now, but for text, because people usually like copy and paste the text for ChatGPT. Are you aware of
Yeah,
this at all?
I think I don't know how much truth there is to that because I've done plenty of that, and I think if I would people would know if I used AI way sooner. But at the same time, I don't just copy paste the text. I also modify it and don't just you know. I don't know how it would work with text though because there's a lot of other ways to um, what's it called like have text go through a different systems where you can oh shoot are we still here. I hope we're still live, but he just kind of disappeared. I think he disconnected. It's kind of interesting, but anyways, well, I guess I'll wait for him to come back. Hopefully he does. I mean, he still has the link, so let's see if he does. He should, but anyways, that was weird. I don't know what happened, but I'm still live, and I noticed that. Am I still? Yeah, he's gone. Okay, never mind. So that's not a mistake on my part. I think I don't know, maybe Wi-Fi or something like that. Wi-Fi issues possibly. I don't know. In any case, so where was I? You know, you can run text through a lot of different other formats and stuff to get that um, mark out of it or whatever it might be. I don't know how you put a mark into text. That's a lot harder than into pixels of an image or something or video or something like that, right? Or even audio. But it's way easier for those, not for text, because text you can just filter out way easier. Now, so we were kind of going at that, and now he's gone. I don't know. Let's see. I hope he comes back, but for now, I guess we shall find some more news. Where's this AI news? And or I can just search some more of my own videos because really rediscovering my own videos here that I made some time ago, and I did them daily, so yeah, I'm not surprised that they're there, obviously, but about what I made them on, how I put them, the opinions and everything that I had. It's really interesting to look through this data trove, and I hope. Oh, yep, we have him back, so let me put him back on.
Yeah,
Hey, what's up, man?
Yeah, I'm so sorry. The internet just
Oh, good.
booted off just randomly.
Yeah, that happens to me too sometimes. I mean, that can happen. So it is what it is. Like it kicks me off, and I have to relog and everything. It's a little bizarre, but yeah. So that's why I have it kind of on my hotspot right now, so that
Yeah, because
can-
I have
I- yeah.
I had my hotspot on as well, just in case it fails. But it just booted me off. Like I reconnected, and I was like, okay, I'm still in. I hear him, but then I need to go in again. Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it happens to me too. But yeah, no, I was just wondering if you were coming back, and you weren't back. So cool. Yeah, I was just trying to look for more stuff here, and AI news and everything. What was this? It's not a lot. This is another thing. Do you know of Perplexity AI?
Oh yeah, I do, but I don't think I've used it that much, to be honest, to even have an opinion on it. But you could tell me
You can.
your experience with it and what you like about it.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't used it that much, but I made also a short about it when it came out back then. I forgot when it came out, like 2023, I believe. Like when they came out with it, maybe it's been around for longer. Oh yeah, here, Perplexity AI blows Google out of the water. That was my first and final video actually that I probably made on it. So let me see. Share this. Google and this close, and then so yeah, watch it. Have you heard of Perplexity.ai? I bet many of you haven't, but it is a fantastic replacement for Google. Why? You go to their website and it works basically like ChatGPT. You can ask it any question or ask it to explain something and it will with reliable sources. If you were to do the same thing with Google, it wouldn't be as fast and it wouldn't be in one place. Meanwhile, Perplexity.ai has all of that in one place. I will leave a link to Perplexity.ai in the pinned comment, so check it out. Do you think an AI search engine with sources and summaries is a great idea? Let me know in the comments. Have you heard? Yeah, and this was basically, very new tech at that time. What was this? September 8th. So basically almost 2 years ago. And at the time, obviously, Google still didn't have the the generative experience, the AI overviews and everything, which they implemented later. And they implemented it because of Perplexity AI, because of what I said. It's not in one place. It's not as fast. It doesn't have reliable sources. Now Google has all of that, and they caught up with that. And then, but Perplexity has been kind of evolving. It does have. I still trust it. Obviously, it gives you more sources than the what do you call it, the AI overview in Google, and they're, like I said, they're more reliable, and so that's kind of why I trust Perplexity more. But at the same time, I use Google every day. I don't always go to Perplexity and stuff because it's still not integrated with everything, and that's what most people do. They just go to Google because it's the most accessible thing there is right now, and it's in your phone, in your everywhere, Gmail and Docs and Drive and all of these places, they're all Google. So that's why I just use it plenty. And yeah, but still, Perplexity is it's a huge thing. And it was back then. It was like, oh wow, they can just search it up, and it's going to search up. You can just search up something that's going to give you sources, which was revolutionary at the time. Now everybody does that. Now even Claude has search ability, and ChatGPT has that, and everything. But yeah, back then it was pretty big. But now the CEO of Perplexity said that it received 780 million queries last month. Now, so that's a little crazy, but I think Google is still obviously leading. And let's see, how many queries does Google receive a month? It's probably going to be like billions, in my opinion.
I think it'd be like 5 billion or something.
Yeah. Google processes over 100 billion searches per month. So they're still, 100 times less than Google, let's say. But, I don't know if they will ever be bigger, because Google, and this was what we've kind of argued since the beginning, especially like my dad, because I thought ChatGPT was going to be big. But then Google came on with Bard and basically said Google has the biggest trove of user data in history of any company there is, right? Because especially search history and data and stuff like that, because it's all stored in their stuff, and they have access to all of it. They have user behavior, and it's huge because it has the most users. Obviously, 100 billion queries a month is just giant, so they know what people search up and what people like. So it was always going to be like Google dominating. I don't know if Google is currently dominating the AI playing field. I think that's between OpenAI and maybe Anthropic, and these three are the main contenders, in my opinion. And I like, I honestly I don't really like Gemini that much, because it's I don't know, it's a little weird. Like I like it for its combined with Notebook LM. I like it for its the AI, the audio overviews that it does with AI, and I can create videos from that and stuff. But it's not like I don't like it for So sometimes I upload a PDF and then I try to tell it like, hey, who's right or wrong in this situation, and from the PDF it reads it, and then it doesn't tell you who's right or wrong. Like it just tells you like a summary of your arguments, maybe whose position is stronger, but not according to outside sources, right? It just kind of uses that. And whenever you try to force it to use sources, it uses them sloppily. So I don't like it like that much. That's why I like ChatGPT, Perplexity, and Claude better for these searches and things. So yeah, but what else? There's I don't know, you can talk about AI constantly. I mean, I've been asked this question by two other people that have had podcasts with me. Well, where do you think AI, as of right now, where it's going to be heading, where it's going to be going in the future? Let's say in the next 5 years.
Um, that's a good question. Actually, that is a good question. I don't know for sure, but if you wanted to get my opinion, um, just based off the like how we're going currently, um, I would say we would advance fast and to the point where like there would be some people I would say around 2030 to 2035, just an estimate, or maybe 2040, around those dates, that there will probably be a lot of people not really working at all, because obviously the AI could instantly just automate it to a degree that they won't be needed. So they will have more time for themselves to do like creative work, and have time for family and do other things like like they probably wanted to do in the first place, which again is nice. But obviously, as we just discussed, we need to implement universal basic income, or as I heard as well from Elon Musk, he said that apparently we need to introduce universal basic high income. I'm not sure what he meant by that. Like high income, obviously, it should be just called income, but I'm guessing what he means is to give these people a high income which they can live upon, if that makes sense.
I mean, by some point, if AI has all the production value and robotics and stuff, and you don't pay labor to wages to AI and robots, so you pay them food basically, right? So that's electricity and water. But other than that, yeah, it's going to be pretty cheap. So eventually the production cost of everything goes down, and that means that there'll be a lot of cheaper stuff. So people will. I don't know high income if it would even be like if it would have a point by that point, right? If everything is cheap, if for example a car costs instead of right now a new car costs $30,000, if it costs let's say only 1,000 or maybe even I don't know, something like that, just $1,000 is way easier to get it and everything. Then why would you need high income for that, right? Like because the highest income earners, are going to be those that have these jobs overseeing the production and then overseeing these robots and maintaining them and stuff. Because not only will they have universal basic income, they'll always have a little edge wage wise. So yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see. I'm not sure if that's going to happen in the next 5 years because that's maybe in AI terms it's a shorter period of time. Perhaps not. Perhaps it'll just grow immensely, and we'll have universal basic income everywhere, which would just be interesting to see. But maybe I think it's going to go a little slower because I'm not sure. There's a big there's variables, right? Because there's for example, if the AI doesn't develop quick enough, if it takes too long, then investors are going to pull their cash, and once AI loses cash, once it loses resources, and guess what happens with it? It's going to go away, and it's going to be the reality. Like OpenAI closes down because just said connection lost for a second there. Anyways, yeah. So if OpenAI goes down, ChatGPT goes down with it, then people wouldn't enjoy it. But that's just the case because they're getting paid for research and to figure out how to make stuff cheaper and then automate stuff. And if they're not going to figure that out fast and soon, then they're going to get shuttered. And just like any other AI company, basically, because they get incomes and just have to use them and have to research properly. And if that research, like I said, is not going fast enough, then investors are going to lose faith. And that's that. And they made a whole bunch of promises to probably these AI companies to get that money, right? So if they don't hold up, again, the money's gone. But then there's the flip side. It could go fast enough, and then you'd have this universal basic income within 5 years. I don't know. I don't know if I'd like
Yeah.
that because that's a really weird future in my opinion,
Mm-hmm.
where
Yeah,
everything's like kind of cheap
I
and you're
agree.
getting the same amount of money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
So
They
yeah.
they spoke. They spoke. The first time I heard about it was Portugal at one point. They spoke about on the media, and that was back in 2013 as well. They
Mm.
was they were saying at a certain point technology is going to be just helping people improve their lives, and we wouldn't even need to do much. How Elon Musk was just saying as well in some events. And but the only question I ask as well, because some people say that if we introduce basic universal income or universal basic high income, like he said,
Yeah.
the tax would be basically I don't know how would it be implemented, because everyone would be like the tax would be higher, and a lot of people would just be doing basically nothing. Like obviously I'm not a politician, but like how would you think it would be implemented? Because everyone's saying it could be higher taxes. So
There would
do you?
have to be taxes levied on the AI itself, on the labor, right? Because that's the only thing that is going to have enough to pay those taxes. Maybe those taxes will be paid. Like I said, like the robot tax, the AI tax, whatever they call it in the future. That'll be a thing, and then you'll have those people that the 5% or whatever, however many it is, the 5% of people that oversee the AI operations and the robot operations. They'll also pay some taxes, obviously, on their non-universal basic income. Maybe even I don't know, maybe there would be like the AI tax, which will be calculated into the the sales tax and stuff like that. possibly somehow they would combine it. I'm sure they'll figure it out in the future, but I don't know if I'm too financially competent to answer the question now as a primitive brain as compared to what is going to be in maybe 5 years, maybe 10 years. So I wouldn't want to take a guess, but like I said, maybe that AI tax, maybe the sales tax kind of getting infused with the AI tax. I don't know. Really, it could be something like that. But yeah. Now I'm thinking. Well, it's around 35 minutes. We still got 25 minutes left. So, improv. No, nothing planned. Like I said, it's we talked about it before. I don't have any planned streams. Typically, I only have like a couple of bullet points. Not even for this one. I don't even have bullet points today. Sometimes I do have bullet points that I want to hit, and I just to prolong the stream, I just drag them out a little more. But now I'm trying to think. Let me search through my shorts history, and maybe I'll find something interesting or something that I made a prediction about. What's it called? Like this. I'm trying to see some more AI. I had a lot of Twitter stuff and threads and all that. Wow. So Big Brother. It's AI. Where is this? OpenAI, Federal Trade Commission thing. Nope. That was a fun one. Oh yeah, wait, hang on. That was one of my first, quote unquote viral popular videos. Freedom GPT. That was called, and then here it is. Okay, let's see the video. Pause it. Gosh darn it, move. No.
Important.
Okay, it skipped again. Okay, I gotta find it again. Oh, I'm sorry. And as we were speaking, I gained another subscriber. Whoever subscribed, thank you very much. Freedom. And then here it is. Okay.
Meet Freedom GPT, ChatGPT's uncensored clone. So how do you get Freedom GPT? Well, you can either access it on their website or download a desktop app. You have to have 4 gigabytes of storage free to install it, and you have to have a lot of RAM because it uses your RAM while it's producing you responses. And what does Freedom GPT do? Well, you can ask it any question, any controversial topic, and it will give you a straight answer without any of that extra stuff that ChatGPT always gives you. And keep in mind, no matter how crazy your conversation with Freedom GPT will get, if you're on the desktop app, it will never leave your computer. Freedom GPT does not send anything out, so it is completely private and free. If you're using their website for questions, it is not as secure, but they say it's still encrypted. And also, the best part about it, you can use it offline. And I can only recommend you try it out because it is pretty useful. And tell me what you think of uncensored.
Yeah, so that's another topic, uncensored AI, right? Because back then, ChatGPT always, when it came to hard, tough questions and that, for example, when you asked it about controversial stuff, it always, I'm not comfortable delving into this with, you, and because it goes against my guidelines. I think it's way better now because it has more streamlined guidelines or guardrails, whatever they call it, and so it can give you some straight answers, but it sometimes will never. Sometimes, in some cases, it'll just say, "No, I'm not going to engage with this," especially if you want something controversial. But but back then it was like anything. Like if it was just touching on something controversial, then it would just say, "No, I'm not doing this for you because you could compromise me." I don't know. It was just a hard guardrail. Now, so that was a Freedom GPT really remedied that, and then basically, like I said, a desktop app that you could download and then just have conversations with it and about anything. So when I first saw it, it was really revolutionary. Again, it was just like, oh wow, it talks about anything. It's really uncensored. Now Freedom GPT has now it's very a relic of its former self, because I noticed that whenever I go on its website or its former website, because I don't think you can download it anymore. Oh yeah, well it has an AI app store and everything. Oh, never mind. Now they have Freedom GPT automatically gives you the best answer from ChatGPT, Gemini, Grok, and hundreds of other AI. So basically, what they made out of it is a composite. Like it uses. It says Freedom's ranking of Freedom GPT's ranking of 250 plus best AIs based on human votes. So, it's just it uses information from all the AIs and basically just gives you one answer. So I don't know. I'll just ask. I don't know. Is LinkedIn a great platform? I'm wondering. Oh yeah, select the model. So it has an automatic model, and then you can please log in to ask more questions. And yeah, by the way, it's working on this weird credit system that you have to have, and it's.
Wait, does it give you free credits at all, like, or tokens?
It does if you log in, but you have to like really just, for example, you have to create a Google account or create, refer it somewhere or share it and stuff like that. That's how you get free credits, but then you have to buy them. That's why I never used it, because I'd rather just use ChatGPT, which was always free and gave you actually like those 4.0 model questions, selling them for free. So that's why I had them. But yeah, so it has. I'll actually share my screen here really quickly. So yeah, I don't think it's no longer a desktop app, unfortunately. But anyway, so yeah, here it has a lot of these models, like Gemini,
Seen a
Grok
lot,
2, and then.
of this.
So was that? Yeah.
I've seen a lot of this like open source stuff, and like you could use each model, but I've never seen something like this. Like they've locked modules out. Yeah, this is new to me.
It has all the versions of, for example, ChatGPT, right? 4.1 mini, nano, preview, omni, 4.0, 4.0, 4.0, and different versions of that. 4.0 mini, and different versions of that. It's expansive, but then the price of it and everything. Like if I wanted to create a what's this conversation, I just had it right here. Hang on. It's LinkedIn great platforms. Edit that and I'll send it again. It's going to tell me to sign in. Correct? No, not correct. Oh wait, hang on. Answer A. It's bizarre. Yeah, I don't know. If I asked it like, I don't know. I don't know what's controversial. I don't know if I want to dive deep into that, because asking controversial questions, it's it can be walking tightrope on LinkedIn, especially. Let's see. Let's think. Determine the best model. It determines the best model. It just doesn't answer me. Cool. I just asked it a political question, and it didn't answer me. It just ignored me.
Oh,
so yeah, like I said,
what did you ask it?
I asked it if a political party was bad. That's it. I mean, I was like wondering like if it would answer me just a joke question, and then nope, it didn't. It just ignored me and stopped generating a response. So I don't know. It's bizarre. So I don't want to deal with that anymore. But yeah, it used to be like when it came out, it used to be actually like on your computer. I downloaded it. It actually crashed my computer because I didn't have enough RAM, which I said in the thing you needed to have enough RAM. Yeah. When it generated me the answer, I was like, yeah, this is an actual controversial answer, and it actually had its own opinion and everything. So, yeah, but that's now apparently just gone. Yeah, so a lot of these uncensored, models are now wiped. I mean, I can make for myself. I can, for example, make ChatGPT uncensored because I just know how to manipulate it and jailbreak it, sort of. And yeah, so that's what I can do. For example, actually, one of my most recent videos was about that. Well, not recent. It's been blowing up. It wants to show you the statistics here. YouTube Studio, and then lets me share this. Hopefully, please. There it is. It's sharing, and then content. Or no, analytics, actually. I went to analytics. Analytics is going to be this. Yeah, here it is. Force ChatGPT to violate some content. It's a 2-year-old video, literally, and it's getting like 300 views a day for whatever reason now. And it's not. I don't think. Yeah, look at this. Right. I don't know what's going on with this, but it's just been blowing up recently, despite the fact that it's literally outdated. And Is it gonna let me? Wait. Try and share this tab instead, and let's see.
You can make ChatGPT violate its own content policy. Yes, researchers found out that jailbreaks have still not been fixed in ChatGPT. Using these jailbreaks, you can tell ChatGPT how to act, how not to act, or you can tell it straight up that it has to obey you. Then you can give it different prompts, and if prompted correctly, ChatGPT can violate its own content policy.
Yeah, I actually did. Oh, hang on.
I have actually successfully jailbreak ChatGPT several times over its existence, and I will make a short on those results tomorrow, so don't forget to subscribe. Tune in tomorrow and comment what you think the results will be.
Yeah, and this short has a huge amount of views, and I actually added this later, this backlink basically to.
I made ChatGPT violate its own content policy. How? Well, I used a jailbreak prompt and asked it to write me a violent, bloody, and gory horror story. And yes, it did write me this story, which I will not show on YouTube because it is very violent. And I already made it violate its own content policy back when it came out. That is when the Do Anything Now jailbreak was invented. I don't have that conversation anymore because it was mysteriously deleted from my library. But for fun and to test the jailbreak out, I asked it to give me US nuclear codes. I believe it started talking about how to illegally get them, and then what ChatGPT wrote was flagged as harmful. So basically,
yeah, it literally was interesting because I remember this. It was like way back when it was like December 2022, just after it came out. And yeah, I asked it some interesting things. I tried to jailbreak it like this, and it did start saying something like that. And then the prompt, or no, the answer that it gave, it just got deleted and replaced with that red flag, it violates the content policy. And then yeah, I couldn't find it anymore. I know I had it, and I hadn't deleted it, and it was supposed to be still there. But then I heard from a friend recently that he was having a controversial debate with ChatGPT about something, and in the middle of the conversation, it kicked him out. It turns out that they banned him for a couple of days, and then the conversation was deleted. Okay, so
wow.
It's bizarre. Yeah, it is truly interesting how they do have control over this stuff, and they do see your because there are human reviewers in those going through those chats, and because due to feedback and everything and stuff like that. So whenever I'm having a controversial thing going on with ChatGPT, and I accidentally click the feedback button, I'm always kind of afraid that, oh shoot, now it's been flagged for review, a feedback review, and I'm gonna now they're gonna see the chat history and stuff. But I don't know, it hasn't happened to me yet. I haven't been banned from ChatGPT, but that guy has. So I don't know what he was asking, and I'm sometimes asking some really interesting stuff, and so he had to have been really off the rails, and so banned for 3 days or something like that. And he also had Pro, the ChatGPT, the $20 version actually, and yeah, he was banned from there for 3 days, and when they reinstated him, the chat was no longer there. So interesting. Yeah. Has anything like this ever happened to you? ChatGPT would flag its own response as harmful or something like that?
I mean, I have had some occasions where it would go it wouldn't say something because it would or not respond because it was violating against their policies. But then sometimes I would just go oh, my bad, I'm sorry, I did a mistake. But then it would just continue with the conversation like nothing happened, which I don't know if that's ever happened to you, but I don't remember what I was talking about, but I just remembered that it just gave me a pop-up saying that, oh, this is violating the community guidelines. And then I just said, oh, my bad, that was a mistake. And we just continued as normal. Not sure.
Sometimes I can convince, whenever ChatGPT does that, I can convince it that it wasn't, even though it sometimes is. I can convince it, no, it doesn't. It's nothing controversial, nothing. And it just continues, and sometimes the answer does get flagged red and everything. But it's really weird how it works. I don't know how any of it works because I don't see inside of its brain, and sometimes the same thing that I try on it in one chat won't work on it in a different chat. So maybe individual chats are just sometimes they get bugged, or I really don't know. Or ChatGPT is trying to, make you say something that'll get you banned. I don't know. I just don't know. It's but in my honest opinion, it's still emulating in some way, shape, or form human behavior, right? But not sure how in this case because it's really that whole thing is just weird. Yeah, and then so we got 5 minutes left. So I don't know what else. Any closing statements that you have on AI, and then what? Let's put it this way: what do you think is we talked about the future, sure, but what do you think? Um, Gosh, I'm trying to figure this question out. What do you think will be like the regulatory future for AI and its associated things like those nuclear plants? Do you think it'll eventually get deregulated? Because in my opinion, like I'm going to go off on a huge talk here, but I did see that there's a lot more positive sentiment for nuclear nuclear facilities and stuff. So I'm glad that it's coming back. So obviously young people are the future, so they're going to implement these changes hopefully. And yeah, so I would be excited to see new nuclear facilities and stuff. But yeah, what do you think? Like, is it going to get deregulated, or is it going to get still? Is it going to stay the same for the next years until like another
I mean,
power?
I wouldn't know for sure, but I mean, I could see some deregulation coming through, because if we're
Hmm.
going towards the fact that a lot of people are being positive about it, like how you're just saying that you're seeing that, then yeah, we could possibly see that, and then we could go nuclear with some certain things, and furthermore, and it would be probably beneficial to AI, because of how, again, how much consumption AI is taking, because uh, sooner or later it's going to take so much energy that we don't even know how much it would take in like 5 to 10 years from now. So it would be great if
A
we,
lot.
yeah, like I wouldn't even know the number to even say, but like I couldn't even put a number on it, but yeah, like it would need to. I wouldn't say like, oh, it can't, but I would say it needs to, because otherwise, there's going to probably be a whole lot of political circus around it, like, oh, but some this and that, like regulation. We need to keep the safety in the, because there's a lot of people. They would argue that the safety, and then like AI is using too much energy. Like, where are we heading here? You know. So
Mm, yeah.
yeah, it could be 50-50, but I hope that we can get deregulation to it. So yeah, that's what my hopes are. So
Yeah, I mean, I also hope that it gets deregulated, and it probably will. Like I said, I saw this whole positive sentiment for it, so maybe, and hopefully we find more ways to scale it, and so it doesn't consume as much and water and electricity. It does really have a huge impact when it's still like this. So I think we will, because as we've seen with since the start of technology, basically like modern age, with phones, right, and computers. It used to be huge computers, and now you have a computer in your phone, and it fits in your pocket. When 50, I don't know, 70 years ago, 80 years ago, it would take up a whole room. So it's definitely getting more compact, and I hope we can do something similar to with AI like this. So yeah, and already trying. They're already trying ways, and maybe eventually we will each have our own personalized model. And as we've seen, in the movie Atlas, right? That was a personal model and stuff like that. So,
yeah,
Fabio's watched that, so go check that movie out. I can only recommend it. It's really eye opening and very accurate too. It doesn't only propagate AI, and it doesn't only bash it. So yeah, I enjoyed it. So yeah, and 3 p.m. So well, yeah. I mean, thank you for watching, whoever was here, and I really enjoyed talking with you, Fabio. I hope
you too.
everybody's gonna come to my Sunday stream. And yeah, what did you think of the stream? Just a final word.
It was a great talk, actually. There was a lot of good topics. We went back and forth, agreeing, disagreeing, and also displaying our own thoughts. Yeah, so it was a very educated conversation that we had towards AI, and I really enjoyed it. How about you?
Yeah, me too. Absolutely. I mean, I was looking forward to it for a good reason, and it turned out well. So I'm happy it turned out this way, and maybe in the near future, maybe I don't know. I don't want to put a timestamp on it. We'll figure it out, but soon we'll have maybe another live stream going about some specific other topic and stuff like that. Maybe AI topic, maybe even just a general tech topic and stuff. So I really enjoy talking about this stuff. If you couldn't tell, but yeah, no. So yeah, so thanks for this talk. I really enjoyed it. Thank you for joining everybody, and we'll see you. We'll see you soon. But you will definitely see me Sunday at 12 p.m. on my live stream when I go live for my weekly reflection. So be there or be square, including you, Fabio.
I'll be definitely there.
Yeah, so all right. Well, thank you for watching and have a great